Big and Hungry Podcast.
Big and Hungry! I want to apologize if my face looks a little puffy.
Your face looks puffy from all the...
Well, last night I stupidly...
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember in the movie There Will Be Blood, and Daniel Day-Lewis says, he'll have a steak and a glass of goat milk, and I will have a steak and one tall glass of whiskey, please.
Yeah.
Something like that. Last night I had steak. I had cockles. Do you know what cockles are? They're not baby cocks. They're little steamed clams. And I had about 7 or 8 cushy oysters. Cushy.
Yeah.
I fuck with oysters on the West Coast. I ain't fucking with oysters on the East Coast. For some reason, I believe British Columbia, etc., is cleaner than, Virginia. So I took some of them down.
By the way, I love when people go to a seafood restaurant anywhere on the West Coast and go, I'll get the lobster. It's like it still came from the East Coast.
It came from the East Coast.
Lobster's not indigenous to the West Coast.
Isn't it? No? All right.
They're all from the East Coast.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably not true, though, huh? Probably some
You wanna
lobsters
Google
out
it?
there.
I guarantee you.
You don't think there are Pacific Coast lobsters? Pacific lobsters?
Not the ones we eat.
Oh,
I
not the
could
ones
be
we
lying.
eat.
This is where I start spiraling.
Yeah, this is
I
where you
could be
start to panic.
I could be lying, but I'm
Yeah.
almost certain. I am almost certain.
Yeah. Let's see. Most lobsters come from the northeastern coast of North America, with the Atlantic provinces of Canada and the U.S. state of Maine being the largest producers.
Yeah.
However, let's see where else.
However.
Where are the lobsters native to? Where are lobsters? Let's go ahead and see. The bottom-dwelling American lobster flourishes in cold, rocky waters off the Atlantic coast of North America, but lobsters can be found in all waters of the oceans. Yeah, as well as brackish environments and even freshwater.
The lobsters we eat primarily come from.
Yes, and you're right. So I'm gonna
like-
say you're right about that.
Yeah.
But either way,
Yes, it feels good.
it does, right?
It feels good when you say something, you draw a line in the sand. Is that true? Yes. Then you kind of backtrack, and then you're proven right.
Yes.
There's nothing that makes you feel better, and there's nothing that makes you feel worse.
It's so true.
It goes,
And I've had a lot of those.
No, that is not. I'm telling you guys. Somebody just Googles it. They're like, "You're wrong." It's like, oh fuck.
I've done a lot of those on Rogan or in the early days. I pontificate
On here.
Oh, on here, everywhere. I'm
There
always
was one you were talking about Greek mythology,
yeah,
flying too close to the sun.
yeah.
And you got it-
Pegasus.
Well, you got it wrong in the.
I did
the
Pegasus
podcast,
and the
yeah.
wax on the wings.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that corrected you on that.
Is that true? Can you look that up? Was it Pegasus and the wax on his wings melted and he plummeted to the ground and he was being ridden by Daedalus warns Icarus. I'm sorry, it's
That's
Icarus.
it, yeah. And
What
you
did
were-
I just say?
Pegasus.
Ah, fuck, Icarus. I should have known Icarus. I'm sorry, everybody. It was Icarus.
Yeah.
And Daedalus on Icarus. Who the fuck? I don't speak Greek.
Let's talk about those cockles.
Okay, so back to the cockles. So I got all kinds of shellfish running through my body, which means I'm bursting with manganese, magnesium, zinc. I mean, I got my whole supply for the week.
Right.
Okay. And then I decide to push it.
My blood type is ranch, by the way, just to let everybody know.
You got ranch.
This morning, you want to tell everybody what you started off with this morning?
I do, but before I go into that, I just want to say, then I had some steak, and this is all at Scopa, one of my favorite restaurants. Steak. I had the
What cut?
T-bone, the T-bone.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
unbelievable there. It's unbelievable, and you dip it in this garlic oil sauce. I ate that, put that down. Then I had some pasta that was just sitting around on the table, and you can't do that because then what happened was my friend who owns the restaurant, Pablo, brings over. I go, I want to try some whiskey. He goes, you want to go a little crazy? And I go, and before I can even say it, I go, and he goes, be right back, and comes and hits me with anybody who knows whiskey.
It'd be great if he came back with paint thinner, a whippet, and like Jameson.
Well,
whoa,
I drank
this is crazy.
He comes back with a 1955 Old Crow. So he
Yeah.
found this Old Crow from 55. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then he brings out the Pappy Van Winkle 23-year-old and 20-year-old. You're not
Okay.
If you want to buy that bottle, it's going to cost you $6,000, motherfucker. You understand? $6,000. I think you get, if you want a shot of Pappy Van, 23-year-old Pappy Van,
Pappy Van
get ready
Winkle.
to dip in your pocket. One pour is about $350. Okay. So I'm not paying for that. He was kind enough to let me taste.
That's the worst name for a strong whiskey.
Pappy Van Winkle.
Yeah, that sounds like a Jello shot you get.
Yeah.
Like in Florida at Margaritaville.
Well, it's like Rip Van Winkle, Pappy Van Winkle.
Pappy is not a strong.
It's a famous, I guess, Kentucky bourbon or something like that. It's
Okay.
it's one of the more expensive bourbons.
Yeah.
It now was bought by Buffalo Trace, but I was drinking the stuff that was the original Pappy that was bottled by in that distillery.
Right.
And it fetches a crazy price just because of its scarcity and stuff like that. So I got a little headache.
Okay.
My
so
head
you did
feels
get crazy. You lived up to the expectations that you want to get crazy. You're like, let's get crazy.
I got a little crazy.
You're Michael Keaton and Batman. Come on, let's get crazy.
But two little snifters of whiskey fucks me up because I'm not crazy.
Oh,
And then I
Whiskey's
so right
my
now I
specialty.
feel like there are a couple little pappies in my head
Just
pushing
with
against
hammers.
my forehead, and my
Let
eyes.
us out. We
Yeah.
don't like anchovies.
Well, no, that's what I had this morning.
It was disgusting.
Yeah,
My mother's Korean and she eats some disgusting shit. And I saw you eat those and I was like, that's fucking gross.
I took down some. I had 2 cups of coffee with some grass-fed half and half naturally, and then I graduated to bib lettuce again.
Now, what's this thing with
Purple
bib
bib lettuce. I don't know. It's just packed with nutrients, fucking brimming with
Isn't
nutrients.
lettuce just like 95% water?
Iceberg. You see how leafy, thick, leafy, and purple those leaves were, bro?
You answered that like you've been waiting your whole life for someone to say iceberg is 95% water.
Celery and iceberg can kiss my ass because they're not really they have no nutritional value. But
Right.
but purple leaves, and then not eating half a tray of white anchovies
Yeah.
and olive oil. Yeah, they're not the salted kind.
Celery, I will say, I don't like celery at all. I don't like it, even when they give you like a celery in your juice or something. But nothing cleans the palate at a Buffalo Wild Wings like a stalk of celery.
Is that
It
right?
kind of brings you back to earth, and it also makes you feel healthier.
Yeah,
Even though you know that's
because
not.
it's refreshing and it's
Yeah.
fiber.
It's like, oh, I got a vegetable in.
Yeah,
It did nothing. It did nothing.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason people eat salad, including myself, is that we feel like if we eat salad, it's something about chewing on vegetables, and we've probably been indoctrinated to it, makes you feel like I'm never going to get cancer. Or at least this is a little bulwark against some shitty disease that might
Right.
show up if I don't eat it.
You know, I love an Italian chopped, but when you eat it, it's like, this is an Italian sandwich at Jersey Mike's without the bread. That's all it is.
I agree. And by the way, I couldn't agree more. And it's at the end of the day, never started eating a salad where I didn't want it to be over. Never. Never fucking. I've eaten broccoli the way my grandmother would make it with the olive oil and the garlic.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
A little salt. That's, when it's, but I never had a fucking raw vegetable like crudité. I never had a raw vegetable where I didn't want to die of boredom. Where I was like, how long do I have to chew? I feel like a fucking man rabbit.
What?
Fuck vegetables.
On occasion, I've had a good salad. But my wife, every fucking meal will be like, you want a salad tonight? I'm like, no. You can have a salad, or we go out to dinner. Do you want to split a salad? No, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm going to order my fucking meal. And she'll also go, do you want to order this and then I'll get that and then we can kind of split it? I'm like, no. I want to order my fucking food and I want to eat my food and you eat your food and that's it.
That's it.
And when there's leftovers on your plate because you're stuffed, I'll eat that.
You'll eat that.
I'll eat it too.
You'll clean
Nothing
that.
goes home. We don't need take-home boxes.
You're a human truck stop.
I'm a human dumpster.
You're a
I
human
love it
dumpster.
all. Put it in. That's why when you said there was pasta left, somebody didn't finish it, you dove in. That is my speciality.
Really?
I love it.
Yeah.
So you're not going to finish that? I'll eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you have last night? Because I didn't invite you to dinner. Only because
Sushi.
I was invited to dinner by my friend,
Yeah.
and I knew he was going to try to pay, and I didn't want to. I'd said yes and then no and yes because of my schedule.
Yeah.
And then I think he had already made plans and made the reservation for 4 which is hard. So then my girlfriend was like, what are we going to do about Steve? I go, Steve will understand. He probably doesn't want to come to dinner because he probably has his own plans. I thought maybe you'd be with Dallas and you guys go do a little ice cream walk. Then I realized you were alone and I felt very guilty. And I felt like a bad host.
No.
Then I come home and the guy's watching Departed on the TV and then he just, like he doesn't want to be a burden. He runs up to his room. I felt terrible.
Well, I was in the middle of it. I hadn't seen it in such a long time, and it was right towards the end. And I was like, I forget how it ended.
Oh, yeah.
I completely forgot how it ended.
It's a wild ending.
And I was sleepy. Stevie had a case of the sleepies.
What did Stevie have for din last night?
Stevie had sushi, and then Stevie slept for, guess how long I slept for?
You slept, I've never seen anybody sleep the way you do.
Just take a wild guess. Give me an hour count.
So wait, so you went to bed and then you woke up, you're saying, so I would say you probably slept 10 hours.
You're right.
Yeah.
I slept for 10 hours and
grown.
it felt fucking wonderful.
Yeah, you're a grown man.
It feels good.
Yeah, I get it.
You don't have to wake up to go pee?
Nope. What I do is I plan it out. I plan it out. Just like when I fly, if I have a 6-hour flight, I will drink water an hour and a half beforehand. So that way when I get to the airport, I know just before I board the flight, I piss when I get to the airport. Then I piss again before I get on the flight. 6 hours out. Because I always have to have a seat on the left-hand side against the window. Because I can just curl up and fall asleep. If I go on the right side, something with my organs, I'm crushing something and it feels uncomfortable. So I always have to go on the left.
Really?
Yeah.
So you got a little something on the left side of your organs.
On
Can
my
I
right
see
side.
what? Hey, can I see the anatomy? I want to see where. Somebody said your liver's on the other side because I was pointing to one part of my body where I got hit when I was boxing, and I believe I got hit in the liver. Let me see where my fucking liver is. Live.
So just piss come out?
I like the word piss.
I believe it's
sometimes
on
you gotta piss.
I believe it's on your right.
Oh, that's not.
You gotta piss. I gotta piss out of my dick. So your liver's on your right hand side.
It looks like it. So we flip that. That's on our right. Your stomach's on your left.
God, that's a big liver. Liver's kind of everywhere. Wait, liver's on your what? On your right? Or is it not?
It's on your right side, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And mine's probably pretty black.
Yeah, I got, who knows? I guess I'm all right.
But you get some beet juice in there, right?
Got to get some beet juice in there.
Beet juice, you cleanse it all out the next
I
day.
guess. I don't know.
That's what they say.
I don't know about detox stuff. And I've decided that what I need to do is I need to get a little more religious. Yeah. We're going to talk about that on this podcast. We're going to talk about spirituality. And we're going to talk about...
Hold on. Let me just set my timer to wake me up.
Shit.
30?
Are you at all religious?
You know, I was when I was younger, I guess, as much as my parents went to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
They still go to church every day in
They
retirement.
do?
My mother goes to church every day.
Every day.
And this is not like, oh, we'll go at 1. This is, we're waking up at 7 to go to mass at like 7:30.
That's amazing.
And then they go to breakfast with all the other folks that are in their congregation. They go to a breakfast place in Florida. So every Sunday I would go to church. My brother and I fist fought in church when I was a teenager. Because, you know, you kneel down, you pray, and his arm was here, my arm was there, and we would just push, and we would fight in church all the time. There's one time we literally got in a fist fight in church.
I would have fucked you up. I would have, if I had 2 sons fighting in church, I would fuck you guys
Can I
up.
tell you what my father used to do? My father, so he played hockey, you know, all this. He still refs at 72.
Wow.
He'd go to mass with us, but he would play hockey on Saturdays. And then what's customary for most guys in hockey, I play in Nashville, it's the tradition continues. You tailgate afterwards, or you tailgate in the locker room. So guys will bring a case of beer, everybody will chill out and have some beer, and you smell like shit, but you're drinking beer, right? Your equipment stinks. And my father would be one of these guys. He'd pound beers. And then we'd be in church on Sunday, 9 a.m., because my mom was always got to go to the first one, which is fucking awful. My dad would rip beer farts.
He just farted.
Oh my God. Disgusting.
In church too.
In church.
Yeah.
And it's like to the point where my brother and I were like, so my mom she didn't pay attention. She was so into church. I was like, oh my God, my father was so stoic and he'd act like nothing happened. And I'd be like, this is disgusting. Just whisper to my
It's
father.
and
This is disgusting.
and probably there was nobody else in church, right?
No, there's parishioners all around us,
Oh,
and they're all
Christ.
affected by it. My dad didn't give a shit.
Just didn't
He
give
would
a
just
shit.
rip.
I'm in the Lord's house and I'm gonna fucking fart.
We are open for business. Yeah, it was so disgusting.
I did that once in church. I made my friend laugh because he made me come to church. Now I know I've been to church
How often
about.
do you go to church?
I've been to church about 6 times in my life.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, maybe.
This is including holidays.
Yeah, I'm Catholic technically, but my parents are just not religious and
Wow,
they just
okay.
don't go.
You didn't go to CCD or anything? Oh,
No.
you didn't like across.
No, so the
state
problem
lines, I
is,
guess, huh?
the problem is like, you know, I do believe in God, or
Right.
like, well, you can go scientific, right? You can say, well, this is all simulation. Cool. So who's controlling the computer? Well, whatever it is, I don't think I'm in control of things, and I don't
Right.
think, and I do believe that living a righteous life,
Right.
a good life, being a good person, and free of sin, if you will, is very important. And anytime you do something that is sinful, like
Right.
if you're living your life in a bullshit way, or it's just going to affect you.
Right.
Like, why is it that when human beings are living a lie in one way or another, even if they're chasing money or they're not being true to themselves, or they're stealing and they're lying and they're cheating people, whatever it might be,
Right.
taking what doesn't belong to them, not keeping their promises, right? You don't get away with it. I mean, you just don't. If you're a sociopath, I guess your life is kind of what it is. But for the most part, when you live that way,
Right.
it's going to end, I think, in tragedy of some kind. At least that's what the mythology, every story every movie we go to, every book is about. You know, the drama is you have a shortcoming, you're chasing something that you want, and then you realize that in order to get what you need, you've got to give up what you want.
Right.
Or you realize that you're living your life in a selfish manner or whatever it might be, and the way to change is to do this thing over here that really costs you, but then you come out of it a better person. That would be a drama, right?
In a
There's
drama, yes,
there's
in
a new
particular, yeah.
equilibrium.
Right.
But it resonates with all of us as human beings because, or here's another example. One of the oldest motifs in story is that you start out as a boy or a girl, and then you face what you're most afraid of, and you're facing a dragon you have no idea how to kill, and somehow you do it. Somehow you
Right.
find a way to win, right? Even though there's no playbook for it, even though you don't even have weaponry for it, you find a way to fucking do it. And then
Yeah.
you come back up into the world a hero. You come back up into the world somebody who's just you're changed.
Are you
and
telling
you're
me
brave.
you finally want to watch Star Wars with me?
I do, but Star Wars is that.
It's the perfect
But
example.
what I'm saying is that so the point is that
I ask you-
that resonates with all of us. That
Yeah.
that deeply resonates all of us when we watch a movie. Think about your favorite movies. All of us at the end of the movie go, yes, that's how I got to live my life. I love that hero. I love that person.
Right.
That's what. But the tragedy is when the person has this fatal flaw
Mm-hmm.
and they don't confront it. That they don't go down and fight the dragon.
Right.
And they get dragged down from their obsession or their flaw,
Yeah.
and they don't learn a lesson. That's a tragedy. And then all of us go, "Fuck! I'm glad I'm not that guy." You know.
Right. Are you making storytelling analogous to religion in the fact that in terms of Greek mythology and mythology in general, that there's a pattern in storytelling which Joseph Campbell disseminated in terms of Hollywood and scripts?
Yes.
That the fact is that there's all these beats, and you find those same beats in religion.
You do
across the scope.
And then so not only am I making that point, but also why is it that we universally as human beings seem to resonate with that? Like, why is it that like Jordan Peterson said, why will J.K. Rowling read from her book and fill a stadium? Why is it children, even very young children, they just naturally love that story?
Right.
Why is it that Lord of the Rings was such a smash hit and continues to be? That like sort of insurmountable odds. We're fighting hatred. J.R.R. Tolkien was really kind of writing a simile, or what is the word? He was writing a metaphor for World War II,
Right.
with the Nazis and how there was good versus evil. That shit really does resonate with our our righteous minds. We have naturally righteous minds. And I really do believe that is my proof for the existence of God. Atheists would say, no, that's how we've evolved because that's the best way to live, because that's how human beings have to be in order to cooperate.
Right.
Well, that's fine. But the fact of the matter is we are that way. And why are we that way? Is it just biology? Is it just in our own interests? I don't I don't buy it, because human beings do shit that's not in their own interests. Like we sacrifice. Like even like Jesus Christ,
being selfless is not in your self-interest. That happens all the time.
But biologists tell you that it is in your group's interest. But I don't buy that. It's like, do you know what I'm saying? I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're right. It's like,
well, it's funny when you talking about storytelling a second ago. There is obviously always something you've got to overcome in any successful story. And when you were talking about this, I'm recollecting all the great films I've seen, right? And even when you're talking about it, it reminded me of, not to plug, but the opening act. There's all these beats of story laced in there that if you're just casually watching it, it'll float over your head. But if you go back and dissect and go, oh, I enjoyed it. Why did I enjoy it? Then you learn that at the beginning of the film, we establish that Will is with his father. His father watched stand-up comedy to learn English, and then his father passes away. And this provides the impetus for him to say, this is something I want to do because I shared this bond with my father. And over the course of his
you humanized him. You humanized him too, universally, right?
Right.
So everybody goes, I want that. That's a good guy. You got to establish that the guy you're going to go on this journey with is worth.
You got to like him.
You got to like him.
He's got to do something that's endearing, or
that's the book, Save the Cat, like where he says, the character's got to, like, he might be a total asshole, but he's got to save the cat in the fire. Like,
there's got to be something that this cat, that the character does. And then as the film goes on, Cedric disseminates to our hero that, look, all comics have pain. That's where we get that's probably why we do this.
Yeah.
And that is the source that's kind of your superpower. So you got to peel back the curtain and get into that, dig deep, and start working from there. That's the nucleus. And from there, start branching out and becoming a great comic. And so he tries it. It goes horribly. He addresses his father in one line. He goes, my father, and he doesn't have the nerve to do it. And he bombs that night.
Yeah. And
then Sunday, he goes back and he finally addresses his father in a really meaningful, impactful, funny way.
Yeah.
And he slays the dragon, essentially. Yeah. So all those story beats I learned from Joseph Campbell, from his pattern of mythology and great storytelling. Yeah. And it is so true. You've got to have those things in any story. That's what makes a story great. Even Rocky, you think about Rocky. That's one where he doesn't win at the end. Dude, but he did because he just wanted to prove he can go the distance with the best.
Phenomenal example. Yeah, I mean, he's like a Galoot who's fighting the world champion.
He wants to be somebody,
And he goes, I just want to go the distance.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, fuck, that was the genius of that movie. The genius of that movie, one of the greatest movies ever, is just the fact that this dude is going to go the distance. Yeah. And with Burgess Meredith, Mickey, his trainer, who's also looking for redemption. It's fucking redemption. You could have been a good boxer. You had the talent to be a good boxer, but instead you became a bum, which is what you are.
Yeah.
It's like, and he was right. But that movie is genius.
Think about the beginning of that film. That film opens with him fighting in a church. Yeah. In a church with C-grade boxers. He goes back to his locker. They tell him, oh, you haven't paid. I got to take the locker from you. And you're learning within those 5 minutes, just establishing aesthetically, visually, this guy is a C-rate boxer. And so much so that he's being disrespected by the people that own the place, that he's getting the boot.
Yeah.
And that's where he starts. And then he fights the heavyweight champion, and he goes the distance with him at the end. That's your closing image. And by the way, it's a great film because it doesn't overstay its ending. Yeah. Right? It ends, and you're out. And there's literally probably 10% boxing in that film.
I know. But so then the question becomes, if that's the case, and I do believe in that, I believe in that. Mm-hmm. I believe in that journey, right? And I think that journey has religious overtones or undertones or whatever. I mean, I just believe that, whatever you go through, you can choose to let it break you or make you stronger. And by stronger,
Well,
it's
resurrection.
but also stronger makes you a better person.
Right.
You make the world a better place because you've been through some shit, right? So, but then the question is like, if you didn't grow up with a religion, I like the idea of, what I like about Islam is Islam, like you actually, when you pray 5 times a day, good luck with that, by the way, that's a discipline, but there's a physicality to it. Like you're doing squats, you're going all the way down. It's like a yoga. And then you're praying. It's really wild.
What's a Catholic mass? It's up, down.
It's true,
kneels,
right?
Up, down.
That's
bend,
what Catholic
squat.
mass is. Yeah, you're kneeling, you're standing. It's very interesting that you're constantly moving.
And the only hydration you're getting is on your forehead, which sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, just give me it. Get.
Yeah, I know.
And you're singing.
And you're singing, dude. And you don't sing in Islam. Oh, the call to prayer is
chanting.
singing, but not
Yeah.
you. You tend to do, but so the point is that maybe I don't see myself joining a religion. I just can't at this stage go, I found Christ, or
So you do not pray.
no, but I'm going to start to meditate.
Okay.
And I do meditate sometimes, but I'm not doing enough of it. And maybe through meditation, I can start to get a sense that, I don't know. I don't know how to find faith, dude.
I'll
That's
tell
the
you,
problem.
I read this book, The Last Days of John Lennon, recently, and it's all about his life. And, it's certainly about, obviously, the last days of John Lennon. And there was a moment in time towards the end of his life where he just needed to get out of the house because of all the pressure and everything. And he went sailing. And while he was sailing, the captain and 2 crew members got violently ill due to a storm. Violently ill. He was the only one that wasn't getting seasick. And so the captain said, John, you've got to get us through this storm. You got to keep the boat on track. Just keep us straight. Here's the compass. Just keep us straight. So
Damn.
John Lennon had to
Get the beetle. Get the beetle.
get the beetle. This went on, I believe, for quite a few hours. And John Lennon said in that moment, and I don't believe he was all that religious, but he spoke to God that evening. And he wanted to see his family again, et cetera, et cetera. And he spoke to God. And I don't know that he stayed religious, but I think that there are moments in our lifetime where you do find religion, even the hardest.
Because you got nothing else.
Atheists. When you are, when the
Yeah.
shit hits the fan, and you're potentially, you have the wherewithal to think, I could potentially die here.
Yeah.
I think that's when most people communicate to God.
Yeah. What they say, there's no
moments.
atheist in a foxhole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like, are you religious, Anthony? No. Most of us don't. And the fucking thing is, my kids haven't grown up with a religion. So what happens is, if you don't have an ideology, a mythology, a religion of some kind, then you're going to find, you're going to find a religion. You're going to find it. And it might be wokeism. It might be communism. It might
be
be
racism. It could be 1,000 things.
It could be 1,000
food.
things. It could be 1,000 things.
I'm
And-
with you though. I feel like there's something out there. I feel like I'm not in control of this.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't like. I'm against church in like every way, pretty much.
Yeah. Why?
The institution of church. I
Yeah, the
understand.
institution of church. It's. I don't know. Like, I can't stand when people try to like get me to come to church. Like, I bartend on the weekends, so a lot of people will come up to me and like they go to different churches.
Mm-hmm.
And like my girlfriend's, one of her friends is like his dad's a pastor, and he's always trying to get us to go to church. And I'm just like, no, dude. And I can't stand that shit, dude.
Well,
It just drives me nuts.
I think at face value, look, the Catholic Church for sure has not had some great coverage these last 15 to 20 years, but I'm
Or
someone
1,500 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I was raised pretty religious. I went to church quite often when I was younger. As I got older, I kind of weaned away from it. And then I had the opportunity to go to Israel. Maybe it was actually, I found out my show Sullivan's Son got canceled when I was on this trip. So when I think of Israel, I think of 2 things: my show getting canceled in 2014, and then and going on this trip. And prior to, I was just another kid that grew up in Pittsburgh. You're going to church, you're hearing all the stories, you think it's just a bunch of, it's, you realize they're all analogous to a higher purpose, and there's deep meaning to these stories. But I thought, who's going to get swallowed up by a whale? Who's going to build an ark and corral 2 animals and
Noah and Jonah. What the fuck?
But so then you go to Israel, and you go to the birthplace of Jesus in Bethlehem. And then you go to, you touch the bedrock of where Jesus' body is laid. You walk the path of where Jesus walked with the crucifix. And then it starts, you go to the Sermon on the Mount. You go to these locations and you go, oh, it is real. It is real. This really did happen. This did occur. This is history. It's not just a bunch of hocus pocus that was distilled and...
Like there was a guy named Jesus of Nazareth. Yeah.
Yes. And that's when it truly, like, as a distracted, spoiled American, when I went there, I thought, oh my God, this truly did happen. And I just never let myself to the belief other than what I was told, right?
It's just funny, though, that Jerusalem or that part of the world is where, you know, the other two groups, Muslims and Jews, were like, yeah, he was definitely a prophet, but he was not God. That's the fundamental difference, right?
Right.
So it's just interesting. Like, you know, he was a first century rabbi, a first century Jew, and the people that he came from themselves were like, that's cool. Yeah, he had something going on, but he definitely wasn't God. It's just such an interesting, controversial
But I think you can
thing all the way
define
over.
your relationship. Either you have one or you don't.
No,
you have one or you don't, right? And
yeah, that's what I've heard people say. You got to just believe or you don't.
exactly. I certainly do have faith in a higher power. And I did something early on in my life where I used to pray to God for things that were trivial, right? I pray to God, you know, can my show get renewed? Can I sell the show? Can I do this? Can I do? And then I realized I was like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
you need to, because I remember reading this thing about, like, you can't punish other people. It's not up to you to seek revenge. It's not for you to do those things. God will sort those things out. And you've got to give the power to God to say, God, I felt wronged by this individual or this incident. You've got to make it right. I don't have the power
I've seen
to
you
make
do that,
right.
actually. You're pretty good at that.
And so now when I pray to God, I only pray for things that I could never be in control of, like health. I want my kids to be healthy.
Yeah.
And so every night it's habitual. I have to pray before I go to sleep.
You do.
And I have to, yeah. And
Wow.
there's nights where I lay awake and I'm like, why can't I fall asleep? I'm like, I didn't pray. And then I pray and then it's lights
Now,
out.
do you get on your knees and put your hands together and look up at the...
No, I'm a lazy prayer.
You lazy
It's like-
prayer. Oh, you lay down.
My mother will literally get up and kneel down and pray before she goes to bed every night. And she's doing she's clocking like 20 minutes.
I like that discipline.
It's like a...
Say what you will.
Brian,
That's a
I don't like the
form-
word discipline.
But it's a
okay?
form of meditation. It's a form.
It is.
I love people who are like atheists, like Sam Harris, who are like, religion is stupid and everything else. But then they're serious meditators. Serious, like essentially hold a lot of the Buddhist beliefs of the self is an illusion,
Right.
and stuff like that. But you know, again, even atheism in its own way is a religion.
Right.
It's you're praying to the great God of what you can measure and rationality.
Right.
But like, there's a lot of shit you can't measure, and there's a lot of shit you can't rationalize. And there's a fuckload of problems called existence as a human being that your logic is not going to get you out of. It ain't going to get you out of it, man. You're not going to get yourself out of a lot of problems. So I respect religion. I just don't know how to fucking, I don't really know how to, I don't know how to do it. Maybe
There's a lot of positives in it.
Yeah.
It's just what I've always seen, because I went to church as a kid and I grew up like Christian technically.
Yeah.
But what I've always seen is like people go to church and then use it as an excuse to like go get blackout drunk after,
Yeah.
which is still what I see.
Yeah.
You know, that's like my friend or my girlfriend's friend, that's his dad's a pastor. It's like
Right.
they go to church, they're like, you know, praise God and everything, and then they come up to the golf court, the clubhouse,
Right.
and stay up there for 7 hours and get blackout drunk on 18 Coors Lights.
Okay, well,
It's
so
like,
why?
what are you doing?
So why the?
How
I'll
are they
tell you what
using-
it is though. Why are people, and including me, why are people so terrified of silence? Sitting alone with yourself, right, and not doing anything, not writing, not reading. In meditation, you try not to even think. But let's just say you take 20 minutes,
Right.
30 minutes to sit and just see what happens, as it were.
In silence.
Just see what
Look,
happens.
I'm going to tell
I
you right
never
now,
do that.
If you want 30 minutes of silence, come to any of my shows. You will get it.
Oh, you'll get it. Oh, you'll get it.
Yeah.
Total silence.
Well, Brian, you got to remember though, silence is violence these days.
That's right.
Okay.
You know what? You
So
can't
let's
just
not
sit
be
around
violent.
and do nothing because you're just being racist. or part of the problem.
That's right.
So get out there and fucking protest. Hey guys, thanks for listening. Sorry this has been so deep and religious.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question, though. Since you're bringing this all up, are you finding yourself, given everything that may be occurring, are you questioning faith? Are you questioning your own faith? Are you questioning...
I'm questioning the fact that I never had faith and
Yeah.
that, looking at destruction and all the stuff that's happened to me, like I'm trying to make sense of it, and I'm trying to figure out how to move forward in a way because see, a lot of times when you go through shit, you've got to be aware that you can't be a drag on the people you love. So you gotta, and you can't not continue to be who you are.
Right.
And so, I got to keep being funny, and I got to keep being a good dad and a good boyfriend and a good person,
Right.
And you don't feel that way sometimes. Sometimes you just, the definition of character is behaving well when you don't feel well, being a man when you want to, or being brave when you'd rather crawl into a fucking hole.
Sure.
And so that's just the definition of character, right? There's no, you don't have an option there. But then you start to, it's one thing to like gut it out. I can do that, no problem. Okay,
Right.
I'll always do that shit. I know who I am.
Yeah.
But what's the lesson, man? What are you getting from it? It's like those fucking soldiers. Like sometimes you see this, like my friend was a ranger and his sergeant was ranger strong.
Right.
The guy he could live on 4 hours of sleep and drink a pot of coffee, and he'd run barefoot for miles.
Right.
He'd just run barefoot. You'd see him running, always running, always running. I'm running 12 miles a day. I'm going to do pull-ups and I'm going to run hills till I throw up. All right. And then I'm going to sleep 4 hours. I'm going to fucking grunt, That in itself is a form of self-medication and a form of avoidance.
Right.
So, it's one thing to be in pain all the time, but what are you avoiding, man?
But even when you're talking about gutting it out, to me, it is when you're placed in a scenario and you've got to be in action, right?
Yeah.
I think what you're asking is what's it all for? What's it all for? What's it all for, I believe, at least to me personally, is when you are by yourself, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you're lying in bed, or you're eating a lunch by yourself, or whatever it is, you're solitary. Do you like who you are? Are you content with the way you've acted that day and reacted to other people? Because I think when you react or act in a negative way with people, those things are the things that will stick with you throughout the course of the day. Go, I shouldn't have fucking done that. I shouldn't have done that. I was so stupid. Those are the things that'll trouble you throughout the course of your day. When you go through your life and you hold doors for open people and yes, please, thank you, you don't hold the line up and you're just a respectful person in society, I think you can just enjoy those moments of silence. You can sit there and go, this is great.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking about all the fucking horse shit that's occurred over that day or the month or whatever. And now look, there's always things that are going to come up in our lives where, my mother had breast cancer. And in those moments of silence, I'd sit there and think, oh God, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. All you can do in those moments, at least I did, is pray.
Yeah.
Just go, God, can you please look over my mother? She's not more special than somebody else, but there's 1,000 other moms right now within, an arm's throw of me that are dealing with something health related.
Yeah, that's what bothers me too. It bothers me that existence is so full of peril and so full of destruction, and that we're so limited and so fragile. That bugs the shit out of me, honestly.
Yeah.
It bothers me that you can do everything right and still get fucking, creamed. And that because that's not how you grow up. You grow up thinking that you're supposed to fulfill this contract over here and then all this stuff will happen.
Right.
And
well,
to an extent that's true. But
billions of years from now, none of this is going to matter. That's what you always hear, right? None of it matters. So why even give a shit? It's like,
that's nihilism.
It's all going to blow up. It's all going to go back. It's going to, who knows what's going to happen in terms of existence and Big Bang and all the other things. But I think, again, what matters is, are you happy with how you acted that day? Well, that's me. That's just me. That's my own.
It's like the Book of Job. You ever read the Book of Job?
It's been a minute, yeah.
Yeah, like the devil comes along and decides to test this righteous man.
Yeah.
And he has this conversation with God. And he's like, I want to see just exactly how loyal this dude is to you. I mean, everything's good. He loves God as long as everything's going his way.
Sure.
What happens if I take his whole family away?
Right.
What happens if I cover him in boils? What happens? And he just goes through all this stuff. He does all these terrible shit to Job, and Job just never gives up his faith.
Right.
Job never gives it up. He's always like, nah, love God. I love God. No way. I'm not going to be a bad person. I'm a righteous man. And the devil finally is like, this motherfucker, this dude
Can't break
did
him.
it.
Yeah.
You know, and then of course, you know, he's restored and he's got everything comes back. But
Yeah.
that's a powerful motif, man. That's like that's
all-
faith.
Those are all blueprints disseminated in some form or fashion in a million different variables for you to disseminate and find faith and inspiration from, or not.
Or not, man. Well, I think the
And it's up to
larger
the
thing is like
individual.
I'm noticing like we should what's happened in the past month. Like if you think about the shit that's going on, like you know, there's so many things that just you have no control over. You know what's funny about all of it? Like we're all dealing with these problems and climate change. What if that's real? What if that shit's gonna happen? What if the
Right.
globe just suddenly goes, we're gonna fucking warm up and all the ants are gonna die? You know, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And then there are a lot of things. Catastrophe can happen on a global scale, and then all your shit was like, what? What was happening?
Right.
You know, I always laugh at that when Fred Durst, who was the lead singer of Limp Bizkit and the singer of Creed, and they had a fucking beef. They had a beef because Fred Durst was making fun of the singer of Creed because the singer of Creed wears chokers and stands on mountains and with arms wide open, you know. And Fred Durst was like, "You fucking dude, you're embarrassing," you know. And he's like, "I'll beat you up." And the singer from Creed was like, "Will you? Because I'm a pretty big kid. Bring
Yeah.
up the singer from Creed. He's pretty thick and probably a good guy. I don't know. But either way, he's like, look, man, you might think I'm cheesy, but I'm singing and fuck off. And so he was like, so I think the singer from Creed was like, how about we fight and we'll give the money to charity? How about that? And then Fred Durst, I guess, didn't really feel like doing it. But he looks like a big guy. Looks like a
Fit
pretty
dude.
tough kid. Yeah, he's not, you know, and maybe he was a little bit whatever, but I guess Fred Durst kind of found himself not doing that. How big is this guy?
He's 5'10". Let me see, Fred Durst.
Yeah, but that's probably thick though. Probably
So the
thick.
tail of the tape.
Oh,
5'8".
Fred's only 5'8".
Fred's only
inches on.
5'8", so you know, and I don't know who did. Let's see if he
And
did any
Durst-
sports. Look
Durst
up this
looks
guy.
a little doughy.
Yeah, what's his nationality? What's from Creed?
American singer-songwriter.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see his origins because
He's from Florida.
I'm gonna make a call right
Well, he's
now.
a Florida man.
Yeah, but I'm gonna make a call. His name is Scott Stapp. Like that name?
Stapp.
Scott Stapp. I like that name. Hold on. Founding member of Creed. I'm gonna find out where, you know.
What are you looking for here?
I'm looking for his, like, has he got any sports life or family?
Personal life.
Hold on. All right, was raised with his mother, Linda, and his stepfather. So he didn't have a real dad, so he's probably angry. Whose surname he took to become a musician first, came to perform yesterday. All right.
Basically says he believes in God and sings rock.
So he's got
He's from
Holy Ghost
Florida.
power on his side. Oh, wait, he is of Native American ancestry. All right, dude. Now you're dealing with Native American. So, all right, I'm a little bit on his side here in terms of like his athleticism.
Well, let's go to the cubicle worker known as Fred Durst, and let's see what this doughy.
Yeah, I mean, I like Fred Durst. I mean, I like him too.
He's from Florida too.
Oh,
Jacksonville. I was just there.
Man. Okay.
Hold on.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Personal life thing just kind of says everyone he's ever banged.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I don't know. I'd have to put my money on Scott Stapp, to be honest.
you got to put your money on Scott Stapp here. And so, but the larger point I'm making is that 9/11 happened, and they decided to bury the differences in the face of this. It's like, you know what, man, we got to just. This is not. And yeah, obviously, yeah, you do that. Yeah, you do that. Yeah, because America's under attack. So yeah, you fucking do that.
For the sake of unity.
Yeah, and also, I don't care about your beef. I don't care about your beef. If I had to choose, I think Limp Bizkit's way better than Creed, and I get that too. But it's like, don't
Dude,
care.
that is literally a toss-up between puke or diarrhea. Like,
Why
I
was
could
Limp
give a
Bizkit? Limp Bizkit
flying
was a good
fuck.
band, though, weren't they?
I could
Limp
give
Bizkit?
a,
Yeah.
I could give a flying fuck about
They had
either
they
of
had
them.
a few songs, but
Oh,
so
really?
did Creed.
Oh, but overall, no.
Like back in the day, I mean, if it came out now, it'd be kind of cheesy. But back
It was
in the
cheesy then.
I
I never
mean-
got into that shit. I never got into hip hop.
I don't know Limp Bizkit.
back
I
back
don't
in
know
the day,
either
there was a
band.
few Limp Bizkit songs that I loved.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
When you're
And
smoking
Creed.
a
Well, I liked
smoking a cig.
I liked
No, I was
Limp
like
as a young
Bizkit's.
kid.
I was
I like
12,
their
yeah.
version
Yeah.
of Faith.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was funny.
They did that pretty cool song for Mission Impossible 2.
They did.
Jesus Christ, guys! I'm gonna leave this room in about a few minutes.
Well, you only listen
I'm
to.
like the atheist
but
of this
you
conversation.
only listen to Oasis and the Killers, and so
No, that's not true.
You deserve to be a little bit shoved around for that.
No.
No,
No,
but just get a little shove around for that because Oasis is. I mean, I know you think they're the greatest band of all time, but for me,
No, the Beatles are the greatest.
yeah, but Oasis, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool, but I always figure if you like Oasis, you're a guy who, you're a guy or a gal who goes to Tulum. I don't know what
To
you
what?
do. I don't fucking know, but Oasis is like, it's like I'm fucking 17 and I frost my hair. You know what I mean? Is that mean? Is that not right?
No one frosts their hair that listen to Oasis is a rock band, dude.
Yeah, no,
they're
they're
covering
rock.
My Generation by The Who and the Beatles and I Am the Walrus.
Yeah.
and they're a rock band.
Yeah,
They're a
but
band you play in a dive bar, a pub,
yeah.
and you order a ton of whiskey. And you
I
get
don't
shit
think
canned.
so.
Yeah.
I think Oasis is like, I always think of Oasis as melodic and safe and you
Are
you
you
make
kidding me?
out to Oasis. It's what two white kids.
No.
Is there two white teens go? Let's look out. Let's go to the observatory and let's play Oasis.
I've
and
never
Neck.
listened to Oasis.
You've heard
Anthem's too
Wonderwall and
tough.
Champagne Supernova and
I'm
Don't
sure.
Look Back
You're
in
my
Anger.
Wonderwall.
Supersonic.
That
Supersonic.
You're my Wonderwall.
Hold on. Lars from Metallica said Supersonic's one of the greatest rock and roll songs to come out.
Let me hear
of the last
Supersonic, but
15
let me
years.
see the lyrics to "You're My Wonderwall."
Hold
It's
on,
a
let me play
fucking
that.
great. You don't listen to anything.
I know, but it's so. It's also so kind of like it's a little cheesy, isn't
It's
it?
not cheesy. No,
But it's- but-
Supersonic's a fucking great song.
but it's a little
rock
bit-
and roll
it's a little
star.
soft.
Cigarettes and alcohol. You listen to Cigarettes and Alcohol, you're gonna want to go out and get fucked
It's a
up
little
and
soft,
make out with
though.
strangers.
Ain't it soft? Look at him. Yeah, so they're. I understand why you like them, but
Love 'em.
not 17. So the thing
What
is,
does that mean? Yeah,
it's just the
17.
way they sing. It makes me super angry.
It's a
because he
great-
kind of wants his words and he opens his mouth. Plus, he's pretty. He's
you know where
super
he
pretty.
got-
He's got a nice mouth.
Do you know where the cadence is from? John Lennon.
Yeah,
They're
I know.
paying
but-
homage and they kiss the ring to the Beatles. They're a great band
Yeah.
and they have a lot of swagger and attitude, and that's something else I love. Can
Well,
you bring
you're-
up? The,
you're-
can you bring
you're
up?
a
You can play
chick.
this. I'm a fucking chick.
Sorry,
you're
bro.
a chick. You don't listen to music. Could you
like, would you
bring
be in their
up
front row and going,
Noel Gallagher?
"Woo!"
I want more.
Is that
This is why I love
song?
Oasis in 5 seconds.
But
What
you'd
is
be
it?
like this.
What is
"Woo!"
it?
just type in Noel Gallagher. I want more, and listen to this clip, and we can play this in the thing.
Okay.
I love them because of their tunes, but also it's the only band I've ever come across where I want to learn about them. Like I enjoy their interviews. Their interviews are some of the fucking funniest.
Wait, this right here? This first thing? Noel, I want more? Oh, that. Okay, never mind. Hold on. Is it an interview thing?
It's an interview. Yeah, watch this. She goes, hold on, just start it over again. She goes, "Are you happy? Are you happy
I
for this
like
album?"
this.
What, you ask me if I'm happy? Listen, I've got £87 million in the bank. I've got a Rolls Royce. I've got 3 stalkers. I'm about to go on the board at Manchester City. I'm part of the greatest band in the world. Am I happy with that? No, I'm not! No, I'm not!
Yeah. See, I like that they're funny.
Dude, he's
I
got
saw
the
that
best
and I
sense
like
of humor.
that. I like that. He's got a good look.
He
If you have a
shits
good
on
sense of
everybody.
humor, I love you.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'd love the guy. I'm just saying that the music feels like it.
You know 3 songs.
I know it might. Maybe it's a little too. It's a little too neat, right? It's a little too
Neat?
like. It's just too.
No one would ever describe Oasis as being neat.
It feel like so. So if I have to go,
Taylor Swift is neat.
If I
that
gotta
is
go-
a well produced. Everything is produced. There's density in the music. It's
Yeah,
all
it's
there for a reason and
perfect.
purpose.
That's what I mean.
Definitely, maybe was recorded in a barn.
No. I know. I got you.
It's not neat.
Yeah, I got you. I'm just saying, it's like, put on Wonderwall. Let me just see the lyrics. I want to see the lyrics of Wonderwall. I want to just, because I feel like it's very well produced, and they're very commercial, which is not
They're
bad.
not commercial. They say everything to not be commercial. The song fucking blew up.
Yeah, but they're commercial though, right?
They want to be the biggest band in the world, but they were never aiming to be commercial.
They're not
or
U2.
selling out.
Let's put it that way, right?
U2 is a sellout. That's a commercial band.
No, but U2's the best. U2, the lyrics of U2 are better, right?
Oh, here we go.
What do you say?
Are you a U2 fan?
Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you.
Oh, God.
But now you shouldn't somehow realize that what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
I can never hear the song again now.
Backbeat, the word on the street that the
You've
fire
ruined
in
the
your
song for
heart
me.
is out. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. See, you know what I'm saying? He's not really saying anything.
Yes, he is. Are you ready? You got to remember the moment in time.
Okay,
look
what
at
was
me.
it?
Look at me. Remember the moment in time, you piece of shit. You're going to drive me fucking up a wall. Kurt Cobain is popular. Grunge music is popular,
Yeah.
right? They don't want commercialization. They don't want the fame. They don't want any of it. He killed himself because of suicide.
Yeah.
What does Noel Gallagher come out with? Live forever. He's like, I don't want any of that shit. I want to live forever. I want great times. And all of his
It's
tracks
positive music.
is very positive.
Yeah,
It's like,
I'm
we're going
with
to go out
you.
tonight. We're going to fucking get it.
Yeah.
That's why people
Well, you and I are the
resonate
kind of
with him.
guys that go out and get it. I get it. I get that.
That's
and I
the
agree
name
with
of
you.
my autobiography, Steve Byrne, Getting It. It's available
Steve Byrne.
from Random House this fall.
Getting it. And what's the picture of you? Are you just like fucking, like this? Or just like
I'm a guy
this?
that
Or
gets
just
it.
like this?
I
Two
get
thumbs
it.
toward you like this. Getting it.
I get it.
Yeah. Or just throwing up a bunch of money.
Don't you get
Just
it?
fucking, you know what, baby?
You wanna
better?
get it?
You're throwing up a bunch of baby chickens, just a bunch of chicks that
Cockles. I want
when they
cockles in
fall
my
on the
picture.
ground, it's going to be bad. You're just like, and then you're throwing up a bunch of baby chickens in the air. We're like, fuck, dude, he's not going to be able to catch all those baby chickens.
When they
And they
land,
can't fly, and
it's
they're going to die. These little yellow chickens, as you're like, but then we flip the album cover over, and you just see they're going to land in a bunch of marshmallows. And they're going to be fine. And they're going to be just fine. They're going to land in a bunch of marshmallows.
And that's why I get it.
And that's why you
didn't get it, but that's why I get it.
Head fake.
My second book is called Got It.
Got it.
That's right.
Got it. And that's you with a bunch of baby chickens that have been prepared for you. They were drowned, plucked, and now you're going to eat the baby chickens fucking whole with a fork. And they've been seasoned with buffalo hot wing sauce. And some people
fried.
eat
Deep
wings.
fried.
Some people eat wings. Yep, they've been deep fried. Some people eat wings. I eat the whole baby chick. Beak and all, you fucks. And that's what it says. And the name of the album is the album and the book is Some People Eat Wings. I eat the whole baby chick. Beak and all, you fucks. Enjoy this read.
This week on The View, the author of I Ate the Whole Bird and All, or the whole bird, beak and all, you fucks.
I eat the whole
Steve
baby.
Byrne.
I eat the
Hey,
whole
everybody
chick.
gets a copy.
The whole baby chicken. The whole chick.
See, you don't like music, and I listen to music constantly. I have music on in the house all the time. My wife doesn't. She wants it quiet. I love having music on. I've gone down Elvis rabbit holes, Beatles rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Every member of the Rat Pack rabbit holes.
Okay.
You
know
Dean
your
Martin
music.
is my favorite.
You know your music.
I love the music that I love.
Yeah.
I love the music
I'm not
that I
saying Oasis isn't a very talented band. I'm not. I'm just saying that, number one, when you listen to music all the time, I don't know when you have time to pray. But also, I'm just saying Oasis feels like they're not as good as, well, they're definitely not as good as U2, of course. They're just not. They're not even close. The music, the lyrics aren't even close. But forget all that. They're like they're kind of between the Killers
What's your favorite?
and Coldplay, right?
Fuck you.
No?
Fuck you. Coldplay's divorce music. When you get divorced, you listen to Coldplay and
Really?
Adele. Yeah, you fucking soft bitch. Listen, the Killers.
I like that.
are
I'm getting you all
great-
worked up.
A great rock and roll band. They're a great rock. How they haven't played the Super Bowl is beyond me. They're commercial.
The Killers are awesome.
They're anthematic.
Yeah.
They're great. Oh, U2, I used to love. U2, they drank their own Kool-Aid a little too
A
much.
little
buddy.
bit.
Come on.
After a while, after like 10 great albums, yeah. You know what I mean?
What's your favorite
Rattle and
U2
Hum.
song, please?
Rattle and Hum. That album is fucking.
Got
can't
destroyed
touch
when
it.
got destroyed when it first came out.
Can't
got
touch
destroyed
it.
when it first came out.
Can't touch it.
It was they were taking a
Bad,
deep dive on
bad,
American music.
War. Come on, man. These
Their
albums,
first three.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look, Joshua's Tree is a great album. I'm not
Joshua
going to knock
Tree.
it.
How about Octoon Baby?
Octung Baby.
You got to give it up.
They
Jack.
reinvented themselves after Rattle and Hum because they got slammed on Rattle
Rattle
and
and
Hum
Hum
because
was
they were becoming
incredible,
too
though.
American.
And then what else? The other one, not
Pop?
Octoon Baby. No, but the other one was where
Zooropa?
no, what was the It's a Beautiful Day. Is that?
All the things you can't.
That's a great album.
That's a great. That came out right around September 11th.
Phenomenal album.
There's some good tunes on it, but it's a
Yeah.
little soft.
I don't know, but if you listen to the words,
No, that. Oh, fuck.
I'm a lyricist, dude.
Oh, I can picture you when that album came out. You probably put it on. You had a girl come over, and that's like an album you run a rose petal against her navel on. You're like, do you like it?
That's
Do you
like
it?
Rogan told me. I called Rogan one time and I go, there was this girl I liked who was a reader. She was like really intellectual, and she'd say something, as you know, like with Shakespeare. And I was like, oh no, I'm not. And so when she was coming over, I was laying books around that like they were open. and I called Rogan. I go, dude, I'm a fucking fraud. I'm a phony. I've been laying books open and out. But I had to tell someone. I had to tell my friend that I'm a piece of shit fraud.
She's like, so the no spin zone?
Yeah. If you're gonna lie, you got to tell your friends. You know what I'm saying? You can't be trying to pick up girls like by laying books out to impress them.
Yeah.
I literally did this. I was laying books out. I was fucking God knows when it was. I was like so young, but I'm a fucking idiot. And she was an intellectual, and I just wanted to impress her. So I'm laying books out like Hemingway's A Farewell to Arms or whatever with the like I'm on page 91.
Yeah.
And then I got a Shakespeare. I got like Hamlet. And I was like, I got to tell somebody what a piece of shit I am.
Yeah.
It's like if you're going to get a hair transplant, fine. But don't act like you didn't get a hair transplant.
Right.
It's the same shit. If you're going to wear a toupee, tell people you're wearing a toupee because you're not getting away with it. Don't say that you ran a 4.40 when you ran a 4.9.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, a little Dickens can go a long way. Hello, classic burn.
Fuck yeah.
I'll tell you one of the funniest. I had a friend of mine who met a girl, and she was like, to like Anthony's point earlier, she's like, oh, I can't stay out too late. It's Saturday. I go to church on Sundays, and he's like, well, I'm religious too. I go to church. Let's just have one more with me. I got to go. So she has another drink, and then he's like, hey, we're having a good time. Why don't you just hang out? She's like, well, I got to go to church. He's like, I'll go to church with you. How about that? She's like, you'll go to church with me? I'll go to church with you. They have another drink or two, and she's like, you're definitely going to church with me. He's like, look, I was going to church anyway, so I'm going to church with you, okay? He brings her back. They bang. She wakes up the next day. He's waking up. He's like, come on, we go to church. Go to church. She's like, what? I'm not going to church. It's like, of all things you're going to lie about. Don't lie about.
That is so funny. Nah, dude, I'm not going to church. We already had sex. The shit you'll say when you're younger. Shit you'll say when you're younger to get laid. Oh my God, the shit you say. You'll go along with whatever. You'll have the longest conversation. You'll find yourself in some apartment where you're like, I love Moby Dick.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
the fucking Nazis were right. Absolutely, I'll do anything. Yeah, just suck my dick, please.
I agree.
Just suck my dick.
I agree. The Nazis had a point. Hey, you want to get naked now? What else do I have to say? Racism is good. Yes, whatever it takes. Like, dude, you say whatever.
But the lengths
You
you'll
say
go to.
whatever
Oh, yeah.
to get laid when you're younger.
Dude,
Fuck.
I almost converted to Mormonism. I almost became a Mormon. I swear to God, there was this girl.
Dude, this is a clip.
She looked like Charlize Theron. And she's like, I can't do that. I'm Mormon. I was like, I'll be Mormon. She's like, you can't just be Mormon. I was like, no, I'll do it. I'll do whatever it takes to
I swear to God,
just do that.
I swear to God, I had a similar experience. I swear to God.
Really?
I swear to God. I met the hottest Mormon girl on the planet, and she goes, I just don't believe in premarital sex. I was like, I love Mormonism. And she started explaining it to me, and I was like, well, that's like Buddhism, and I practice Buddhism, so for me, the jump is not far. I don't practice Buddhism. I was willing to say anything. She was so hot.
Yeah.
And nothing, and she didn't buy it.
No.
I ended
This
up
girl
rubbing
didn't
her
buy it
fucking feet. I swear to God. I ended
What?
up rubbing her feet. I gave her a foot massage. So there it is.
While you're jerking off.
Dude, whatever. Yeah, those are those frustrating things where you're just like, holy shit. You know,
Yeah.
I guess we have to talk about whatever. I'll stay up till 4 a.m. Got to be up. Rogan had the greatest joke I ever heard about that. It's like wanting to get laid, and you know, the hottest girl in the world is like. It's like you're in the back of a bus and somebody else is driving the bus, and you're like, I gotta wake up in 5 hours. Shut the fuck up. And then you end up like you finally have sex. And now you're like, you gotta back this fucking bus up, and you got an hour, and you're like, I don't know how to drive a bus. It was one of the greatest bits I've ever heard because it's just so fucking true. It's like, you know, somebody else is driving that bus. You're just like, you're a young man. So you're like, you want me to convert to Mormonism? Rub your feet, agree with everything you're saying, clean your car, end up in a bad neighborhood somehow because I'm whatever you need. You know, the kind of shit you do. I remember this girl wanted to have. It was basically winter, and she wanted to sit outside of this restaurant so she could smoke. She was Russian, and I was like. Okay. Fucking all right.
I guess I could lose a few toes.
You'll do whatever.
This'll be worth
You'll do
it,
whatever.
yeah.
Freeze, whatever.
Well, even I hate to say it, but like in the opening act, like I ended up underneath a trailer. And
That's a
I
great
knew
story.
when I was leaving,
That's a
I was
true
like,
story, yeah.
this is going to be bad. Like you're
Tell
on.
the story. Tell the story. Tell the real story.
I did a show at Charlie Goodnight's at the time. It's called Goodnight's now.
Yeah.
And you finish the show, and at the time you go downstairs and there's a nightclub. So it's a dance club. So
This is
everybody
Raleigh,
from
North
the
Carolina.
show, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Everybody from the show goes downstairs. So now it's like fish in a barrel. If you were on stage and you did good, and there's a cute girl, you had an in.
Yep.
So I go downstairs, and there was this smoking girl dancing on the bar in Daisy Duke's cowboy boots. And like it's like a cosplay. Like if you wanted to bang a cowgirl, like you would ask for this girl in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
So she, as soon as I walk in, she goes, "You," and she goes like this. I was like, "Yes, ma'am."
Yes, man.
It was like those
Yes,
Looney
ma'am.
Tunes commercials where they
Yep.
smell the steak and you start floating over.
Yes.
So I just float over. Next thing I know, and that's how every bad story starts, right? Next thing I know. So I'm in a car. We're in a cab, and we're on the road. Then we get on the highway. Then we get off the highway. Then we're on another road. Then we're on like a side road. Then we're on a 1-lane road. Then we're on a dirt road. And we're hitting dirt and gravel. I'm like, where the fuck are we going?
Yeah, that's a problem.
I go, where are we going? She's like, oh, we're going to my place. So I was like, where is this? I get inside. She lives in a trailer in the fucking woods. Okay, there's a trailer in the woods. So it's just like, I don't know if they're squatters or something, but they set it up there. So we pull up, get in, there's guns everywhere, shell casings, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And I literally, I was like, are you packing heat? And next thing I know, she pulls my pants down. I mean, within a minute of me being inside her place, she pulls my pants down.
What a great attitude.
And I was like, but this is the thing, when you're a guy and that shit happens to you, it's the thing you dream about, but when it happens, you go, whoa, what the fuck's
What's going on?
here?
Yeah.
Like, is there a trap?
Well,
Everything.
you worry it's a trap or she's crazy. Something's up, right?
Yeah. The
Like-
way you want it to play out, when it plays out that way, you don't want it to play out that way, because then you start backtracking. You're like, hey, maybe we should like have a beer first or something,
Well,
right?
you just want your friend to know where you are. You want to have a couple friends just watching the door.
Yeah.
You're like, what's going to happen here?
So next thing I know, we hear tires pull in, and she goes, oh my God, he's here. I go, who? She goes, my boyfriend. I go, what? She goes, he's a Marine. He'll kill you. I go, oh, fuck. So I jumped out the window and I crawled underneath the trailer, out the backside, crawling in as I see his feet walking up in.
Dude.
And now I can't go anywhere because there's branches everywhere. We're in the fucking woods. And if I start snapping branches, he's going to fucking pull one of those guns out and shoot me.
Yeah.
So I'm laying underneath this trailer. I hear them partying. I hear them fucking. I hear them fucking again. And then I hear her make Hot Pockets, and I heard the microwave ding. I remember all these.
And you're
like,
fucking under. It could have
I'm
been cold. It could have been freezing.
And I have no cell phone. This is 1999, maybe 2000. There's no cell phones. I didn't have a cell phone, okay? They were just kind of new. So that's how long ago this was. So I literally had to wait until they passed out, and the sun is coming up, and I haul ass, and I ran and walked eventually for like 2 hours to the nearest gas station.
You walked 2 hours.
Yeah. I was in the middle of fucking nowhere, man.
What
and I was
time was
scared
it?
for my life. I mean, by the time I got to the
fucking
to the
nightmare.
gas station, it was like 7 a.m. And all that to get laid.
All that to get laid. All that shit.
And guess
to
what I
get
did
laid.
the next night? I tried to get laid.
Of course.
The very next
Of
night.
course.
It's like, all right, let's see what happens.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's why with religion and with the way you're raised, the traditional way was like you better be a fucking good boy and you're not allowed to do shit like that.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it always leads to fucking trouble, don't it?
That's right,
always.
it does.
If you do it enough, you're gonna hop upon somebody crazy who can get you shot or whatever.
Yeah.
And
But when you're young, you don't think about this.
nah.
things.
When
Then
you're a
you get
comic,
older,
nah, you don't. You don't. It's
always
the
chasing
last
the
thing.
dragon.
You're always chasing the dragon.
Yeah.
You're chasing the fucking dragon. Part of the comedy, part of the road, part of that is all that. Is it all that stuff? All that stuff. And frankly, a lot of it's fantastic. And frankly, it's not. It's probably, if you could go back to your younger self, you'd go, "Hey, dude,
go home.
go home.
Oh, 100 times.
Go home.
100 times.
Go home and read
yeah.
a book.
Yeah.
Go home and do. But the young people listening to this, they're not going to listen to that. I don't blame them.
No,
I wouldn't
and
have listened.
And if I went home, I wouldn't have had that scene in a movie that I wrote all these years later.
Yeah,
So,
I've had when I was younger, I had wiser, older men,
yeah.
philosophically and morally and religiously and all that, explain to me why chase and tail,
Yeah.
chase and skirt, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
that all the different words we use, is a waste of time
Yeah.
and
Oh,
worse
yeah, it is.
worse, and you don't listen.
No, you don't listen.
Some of it's just you're
Some
with your
people
boys.
just never listen. Eventually, I think 80% of us come to a point where it's like, all right, I get it. I've done it. It's time to shut the valve off
Yeah.
and get serious. And I did, like, when I was like 30, 31. That's when I was like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore.
Well, you had Oasis. And for a guy like you, you can go back and listen to Oasis in your room and just kind of like rock out, which you probably did. Did you rock out to them? Like, would you be like, would you put your earphones in and be like this in the mirror and be like, and then go like this and then write like a,
Yeah,
and then,
that's what I do.
And then add to your dream board.
My vision board.
Yeah, your vision
Yeah.
board. Did you add to it? Oasis inspires me. I'm going to be this, that, and the other thing.
By the way, when I was 21, 22 in
Yeah.
New York City as a young comic, I did do that.
I know.
I did do that. I would print out the lyrics, put it in my notebook along with the jokes I wrote, and I would highlight certain lyrics, and I was like, yeah, man. Yeah.
This episode should be called God, Oasis, and Rockin' Out Alone.
And I'll be Mormon.
No, God, Oasis, and I'll be Mormon.
All right. Well, I got to do this.
Guys, come see Steve. Where are you going to be?
I will be in the middle of April at the Indianapolis Helium, and we'll be together at Huntsville, Alabama, doing a podcast. But everything I
live
have is
podcast Thursday, and then I'm doing that weekend at Stand Up Live. You're right.
yeah,
And then you and I will, and then I'm taking April off.
very nice. Well, everything I have is at Steve Byrne Live, all my social media, and I know I've referenced the opening act twice in this podcast. I haven't in any others, but it is available to rent at Amazon for $2, and it's the fucking greatest film you'll ever see about stand-up comedy.
It's the greatest film of all
best.
time.
It's better,
I really like that film.
better than Shawshank.
BryanCallen.com for merch, Big and Hungry merch, and for all the other merch. Deep Waters, Conspiracy Social Club, you name it. Come get some. Come get some.